Hello there. This is Mac Payne, the creator, owner, and operator of the Vietnam Veteran News Podcast, where we bring you news about the Vietnam War and the brave veterans who served there, as told to you by yours truly, a Vietnam veteran. In this video, I'm here to announce a new episode has just been published onto the podcast. You can find it anywhere you find your favorite podcasts, like Spotify and all those other places. You can also go to the podcast website, VietnamVeteranNews.com. The episode I want to let you know about today is number 3186. In this episode, I'm going to continue my mission to tell the world that the Vietnam veteran generation was as great as any that ever heeded the call of duty from its country. All these Vietnam veterans served their country in Vietnam in a very difficult situation. The vast majority of them, when we came home, continued serving our country in a wide array of pursuits very well. That's because when we came home, we were older, wiser, stronger, and better able to deal with adversities than our non-Vietnam veteran contemporaries. Unfortunately, because the Vietnam War was not a popular war, the population of America found it easy to take out their dissatisfaction with the war on the veterans rather than the politicians who started the whole thing. It was a terrible thing. Many Vietnam veterans came home and were assaulted and called names at the airports. It was a terrible thing. Many times, I thank the good Lord above that when I came home from Vietnam, both times, I never encountered an anti-war protester. Had I did encounter one, I would probably still be in prison for what I would have done to them, despite the statute of limitations. I couldn't take it. I was also thinking about these anti-war demonstrators. They weren't very smart. Many of these returning Vietnam veterans had been in some very difficult situations over there, life and death, shooting and fighting. And then they come back to some weaselly anti-war demonstrator, and they're going to say things to somebody who just came back from combat. They're lucky they did not end up in bad shape. But anyway, I don't think they were very smart anyway, myself. That's why I'm on the mission to let the world know about the greatness of our Vietnam veteran generation. Not just the Americans, but there were also some great ones from Vietnam itself, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Philippines, whatever. They were all great individuals, or a large number of them were. In every group of humans, you always have some that aren't all that great, but most of the Vietnam veterans were great. In this episode, I'm announcing today that it's just been published, number 3186. I'm going to tell you about another tremendous representative of the great Vietnam veteran generation. But first, I do have a favor to ask. If you would, go down below this TV set in the details section and click on the link that says Buy Me a Coffee. You do that, and you'll be able to buy a cup of coffee from me. In essence, you help support what I'm doing on this YouTube channel and my podcast. Click on that, buy me a cup of coffee. If you'd like, you can buy 2, 3, or even 100, whatever. I've been doing this podcast for 12 years. I've financed the whole thing. I've paid for everything, the fees involved with it. So if you would, help me out a little bit. Moving on. In the episode I'm telling you about, 3186, I described to you a wonderful individual by the name of Elbert Wingfield. He's from Mobile, Alabama. I think he's got a very interesting story. In 1967, he graduated from high school. He had intended to go to college and play sports. But just before he graduated, some Marine recruiters came to his school and told him about how great the Marines were and encouraged him to join. Elbert said that after I saw his dress uniform, that convinced me I had to become a Marine, which he did. He went over to Vietnam and got there just in time for the Tet Offensive. And if you were in the Marines during the Tet Offensive, it was rough. They had the Hue deal where they had to go in and drive out those North Vietnamese that came in and captured the city, help dig up all the bodies of the Vietnamese that the NVA and VC murdered because they weren't communist or because the residents of Hue had a college degree or education. They were all killed. Elbert was there when all that was going on. In this story that I share with you that appeared on WKRG, he talks about this. He had a rough time over there, but even though he was wounded, he survived and came home. When he came home, he pursued one of his favorite things, barbecue. For many years, he had a restaurant there in Mobile that not only provided delicious barbecue for everybody in town or whoever wanted to come there, but he also took care of his fellow veterans. Every time a veterans group in Mobile needed catering for one of the events, Elbert was there. He would supply the food, and when they would say, "How much do we owe you?" he would say, "You don't owe me anything. It's on me." And he did that. He supported his veterans, supported the town, and he proved what I always say. When the veterans came back, they continued serving their country, and I'll guarantee you that Elbert did a better job because of his experiences in Vietnam. He was older, wiser, and stronger than he was when he went over there. And when he came back, he did a good job. I like Elbert Wingfield's story because it helps verify what I always say. I wish his restaurant was still open. He's retired now, but if it was still open, I just might drive up there to Mobile and have some of his delicious barbecue. So, with that in mind, I highly encourage you to go over to the podcast and listen to the story of Elbert Wingfield. I made it easy for you. Right down below this TV set in the details box, not only will you see a link there where you can click on it and buy me a coffee, you can also click on it and go straight to the episode about Elbert Wingfield. See, I make it easy for you. And you can listen to his story, and I guarantee you, after you hear it, you'll feel better about not only our Vietnam veterans, but all of our veterans who serve our country. We live in a fallen world, and there's some bad characters out there. And if we are not willing to stand up and defend our country, we're in bad shape. You just think, and I say, thank God for people like Elbert Wingfield. We're much safer here because of Elbert and all his fellow veterans who serve our country. So do yourself a favor. Go down below, click on the link over to the podcast. After you click on the Buy Me a Coffee link and hear the story of Elbert Wingfield, a tremendous representative of the great Vietnam veteran generation. With that, I'm going to close out, and I will see you next time. Thank you for listening.